the gift of true peace. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. John 14 verse 27. These words of Jesus are filled with deep comfort and truth. They were spoken to his disciples on the night before his crucifixion. Knowing they would soon face trials, he reassured them with a peace that was beyond human understanding. But what is this peace? How is it different from what the world offers? 1. The difference between worldly peace and Christ's peace. The world offers a temporary, fragile peace based on circumstances. When things are going well, when there's no conflict, financial trouble, or sickness, people feel at peace. But the moment hardship comes, fear and anxiety return. Jesus, however, gives a different kind of peace, one that is not dependent on external situations. His peace remains even in the midst of trials, suffering, and uncertainty. It is a peace that comes from trusting in Him, rather than in our circumstances. In Mark 4 verses 35 to 41, Jesus and his disciples were in a boat when a violent storm arose. The disciples panicked, but Jesus was asleep. When they woke him, he rebuked the wind and the waves, saying, "Peace, be still." Mark 4 verse 39. Immediately the storm stopped. The disciples were afraid because they focused on the storm. But Jesus had peace because he knew the power of God. Lesson. True peace is not the absence of storms but the presence of Jesus in the storm. 2. The source of this peace. Jesus tells us not to let our hearts be troubled. This means we have a choice. We can either allow fear to rule our hearts or choose to trust in Him. Daniel in the lion's den, Daniel 6. Daniel remained peaceful even when thrown into a den of hungry lions. Why? Because he trusted in God completely. God sent an angel to shut the lions' mouths, and Daniel was unharmed. His peace came from faith, not circumstances. Lesson. When we put our faith in God rather than in what we see, we experience the peace Jesus gives. 3. Jesus Himself is our peace. Peace is not just a feeling, it is found in a person, Jesus Christ. Ephesians 2 verse 14 says, "For He Himself is our peace." Jesus reconciles us to God. Sin separates us from God and brings guilt and fear, but through Jesus, we are forgiven and made right with God. Because of this, we can have peace in our hearts, knowing we are loved and accepted by God. Lesson. The closer we are to Jesus, the more peace we experience. For overcoming fear through the peace of Christ. Jesus commands us, "Do not be afraid." This is possible when we rely on His presence. Peter walking on water, Matthew 14 verses 22 to 33. Peter walked on water towards Jesus, but when he focused on the storm, he began to sink. Jesus immediately reached out to save him, saying, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" Peter's fear came when he took his eyes off Jesus. Lesson. Fear grows when we focus on problems. Peace comes when we focus on Jesus. To experience the peace Jesus gives, we must trust in God completely, like Daniel in the lion's den. Keep our eyes on Jesus, like Peter when he walked on water. Remember, Jesus is our peace. He has reconciled us to God. Reject fear and anxiety by choosing faith over fear. This peace is available to all who believe in Jesus. Even in trials, we can rest in His promise, "I am with you always." Matthew 28 verse 20. Would you receive His peace today?